So for quite a while, I've been making videos about drinking raw milk and just like various different trends I've been seeing on things like TikTok and seeing just like weird food influencers make videos on.
This is why you should be drinking raw milk. Raw milk has been associated with beneficial changes in the gut microbiome, including increased levels of lactobacillus. And raw milk also contains the highest levels of MSM, a compound studied and found to improve joint health.
The reason that we love buying dairy from the Amish is that they don't pasteurize their dairy.
Raw milk was demonized. Why? Because these big dairies have sway with the government and the media. Obviously, they will say and do anything that will make them more money. Obviously, as a result of this, raw milk being sold from small, most of the time family-owned farms, were now deemed dangerous and unacceptable.
The government doesn't know what strains of probiotics are found in here. Like, the more and more I learn, the more and more I'm realizing the government is a sham.
And the raw milk thing is weird because I made my first video on this, must be like 5 or 6 months ago. And when I first made my video on it, I felt like I was the only person talking about it. I probably wasn't. But it was weird to make that video and then slowly just see more and more conservatives promote drinking raw milk over the year. And obviously people like RFK, absolute lunatics, say they drink raw milk. And as it's gone on, we've also seen more threats to public health from raw milk. And recently, bird flu has been found in raw milk. And I think, I'm not sure what it was earlier this year, but there was another batch of raw milk that had like disease in it as well, because of course the reason raw milk is pasteurized is so you get all these things out of it and you don't drink viruses that can be transmitted from animals. And actually, like animal agriculture, as we've seen through things like COVID, are some of the biggest sources of pandemics and stuff, right? HIV, AIDS, that comes from bushmeat, probably came from people eating chimps, and one of their viruses that doesn't affect them mutated and then turned into HIV AIDS. Obviously you have COVID, you have various different coronaviruses, you have loads of different like bird flus, just loads of stuff to do with animals. If we stopped eating meat and if we stopped drinking milk, lots of these pandemics wouldn't exist. And also we have things like antimicrobial resistance because yes, we pump all these animals full of loads of drugs so they don't get as ill when we're farming them for either meat or milk. And it's just a recipe for disaster. And now we've got someone like RFK Jr. And there was another guy today, some anti-vax doctor. They're going to be in charge of like medical health in America. So expect this to probably be the start of the next pandemic. And if we see that under the Trump administration, because of both people denying science, regulators stripping back laws against raw milk, which has been happening, and people like RFK and Trump being in power, like don't be surprised. So I want to just read this quickly, and then I want to read a comment I saw under this article when it was written by someone else, because I think it sums up Americans so much. And obviously you guys know I believe in like systems influencing people rather than people having free will and making choices. There is still some stuff about America which I can't wrap my head around. So I just want to read you this article from CNN. Bird flu virus has been found in a batch of raw milk in California and consumers should not drink it, the State Department of Public Health warned on Sunday. The agency said that no illnesses have been associated with the lot of raw milk and that pasteurized milk remained safe to drink. It said out of an abundance of caution and due to the ongoing spread of bird flu in dairy cows, poultry and human cases, consumers should not consume any of the affected raw milk. Raw Farm LLC of Fresno, California, recalled quart-and-a-half-gallon sizes of raw milk with a best by date of November 27th. On Thursday, the Santa Clara County Public Health Laboratory was testing raw milk products from retail stores when one of the samples tested positive for H5 bird flu. The county contacted stores selling this raw milk and recommended they pull it while the sample was tested further. Then the test was independently verified. Just finally, the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has recorded 55 human cases of bird flu in 2024, including 29 in California. Most are linked to farm workers who've been in contact with sick animals. And last week, the CDC announced the first US case of bird flu identified in a child in California took place, and an investigation into how the child was exposed is underway. So all of this threat of having another bird flu pandemic from maybe things like raw milk is because people are just idiots. Like, there is no reason to drink raw milk. There's no nutritional benefit. Maybe you like the taste better. Is that worth potentially getting bird flu or something else, right? And that's what like drives me crazy. Like when I make these videos, people comment like, well, I grew up on a farm and I always drank raw milk and I was fine. Okay, good. I'm glad you were fine. Because you're still rolling the dice every single time you drink that, because if your cow gets infected with something, you're probably going to get it as well. So is that worth it because you like the taste of milk better? Maybe for some people it is, but also you have to realize it's a public health risk, right? And Americans especially are so brainwashed by individualism, they don't care. Like they'd rather tasty milk to them than reduce the risk of a pandemic. And this made me laugh because it's so American, right? So the New York Post, which is like the Daily Mail of America, just ran a story as well. Bird flu virus detected in raw milk dairy farm in California, right? So I was scrolling through the comments and I laughed so much. So obviously you get like insane stuff. It's become like some sort of racist thing. Like here's like a Pepe the Frog meme. And people saying, you know, it's not a big deal. I grew up drinking raw milk since I was an infant. I don't know why people are so terrified of raw milk in America. When I worked in a grocery store, romaine lettuce was recalled many times a year for E. coli. Yet people are still eating salad. Again, like American individualism of like, oh, in my personal experience, I was fine. So, and because sometimes like lettuce is bad, yeah, we should just keep drinking raw milk because it seems safer in my opinion. But this made me laugh so much when I read it. Like this like the most American thing you've ever heard in your life. So this is in response to bird flu being found in raw milk. Only makes me want raw milk more. Once the propaganda media starts a smear campaign, you know you are over the target and fraternizing the globalist NWO agenda. Americans, like, why? Okay, I know this isn't just Americans because loads of British people have fallen to these conspiracy theories as well. But, like, Americans thinking they're standing up to the man, to the powerful, because they're deciding to drink milk, which is more dangerous to your health. Like, they're deciding, like, not boiling milk, or not even boiling, like, not warming milk, is actually standing up to the globalist agenda. Drinking raw milk is a sign of defiance. And, yeah, like, it encapsulates in my mind just this tweet. Just everything wrong with fucking Americans. And if you go on her profile, like, it's not surprising, is it? Leave the kids alone. Free First Amendment. Second Amendment. Stay-at-home mum. MAGA. And, just retweeting all the usual garbage. Jan 6 political prisoners, loads of stuff about Donald Trump and Iran and shit like that. So when humanity is going to die, like, from pandemics and stuff, it's people like this. Oh, there's bird flu in my milk. That makes me want to drink it even more. And you can't stop me. And, like, that's why it's hard someone's being a leftist. Because I'm looking at this woman here, right? I'm looking at this profile of the person who said they want to drink bird flu milk. And you're thinking, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. Like, what went wrong in your life? But that's why being a leftist is hard. Because I'm like, how does someone become like this? And we can laugh and be like, you're an idiot. And it's your own choice. But is it a choice? Like, you're growing up in America. And you're probably growing up in an insane conservative community. Like they say you're from Tennessee, which is, you know, more conservative part of America. And like obviously the propaganda is so insane that someone just gets radicalized into thinking that drinking diseased milk is actually a fuck you to the globalists. So yeah, like, for me, I always wrestle with that point of, if I spoke to this woman in real life, she would probably drive me absolutely fucking insane. But, like, there are so many people like this now, you have to more, like, examine and take away, like, the personal aspect and examine, like, why do people act like this? Why are people so drowning in conspiracy theories and everything? And beyond things like religion, it's because of capitalism. And if we're looking at someone like her with a verified Twitter account, all the verified stuff she retweets, people push this information just for profit. And that's what misinformation is often done for. It is done for profit of a few, and also to keep you voting against your own interests. So if someone is so far gone that they're advocating for drinking diseased milk, do you think they're ever going to vote against, like, conservatism? They're so brainwashed at this point. It's just not happening, is it? And especially when everyone around them is the same in this cult, like, how do you help people out of it? Like, how would I ever reach this person? I don't think you can, but that's why capitalism is such a death cult, is people like making money off the backs of brainwashing people into this ideology, which will, like, doom humanity. but they don't care if you can make some extra money. So that is the video, and just expect to see, I don't know, loads of cases of bird flu linked to people drinking raw milk.